for those. Okay, today, hopefully before you came, you had time to watch the lesson 12 video. It's going to build on what we did yesterday. And right now we're going to be doing the must-do problems from the lesson 12 video. And those are on page, we're going to start on page 60 in your student workbook. We're going to start with number 2. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see mine. Even though we only have 2 problems to do today, you're going to notice that they have more than one question, more than one part. And you probably noticed in the assessment that you took this week on Monday that a lot of the questions have more than one part to it. And also, you're using some of the answers from part A to answer B, C, and D. So we really want to make sure we understand the questions before we go to solve and feel confident in our answers because they could affect the other questions. So we're going to start with number 2. Raffle tickets were sold for a school fundraiser to parents, teachers, and students. 563 tickets were sold to teachers. 888 more tickets were sold to students than to teachers. And 904 tickets were sold to parents. So I'm going to grab my highlighter. And we're going to highlight 563 tickets sold to teachers, 888 more tickets sold to students than to teachers, 904 tickets sold to parents. So before we get started, who can give me the gist of this question? What did we read about?
The amounts of tickets that were sold to parents, students, and teachers.
Very good. Now here's our questions. Letter A, about how many tickets were sold to parents, students, and teachers? Round each number to the nearest 100 to find your estimate. So we have to figure out about how many tickets sold to parents, teachers, students. Round nearest 100. So we're going to break this up into each person we sold to. So let's start with parents. What do we know about the parents?
There was 904 tickets sold to them.
So we have 904 tickets. Now we're going to round this to what place value?
The
nearest 100.
Okay, so we're going to find my place, underline the 100, look next door, 4 or less, give it a rest. So since 0 is less than 4, 9 is resting, and the rest turn to zeros. So to the parents, we sold about, I'm going to put my squiggly line, 900 tickets. So I'm going to did the parents. Now we're going to do teachers. What do we know about the teachers?
563 tickets were sold to them.
And again, we're rounding to the nearest 100. So I'm going to find in my hundreds place, look next door. Now we have 5 or more raise the score. So this 6 is more than 5. So when I raise the score, this underlined number raises 1. So the 5 turns to a 6 and the rest turn to zeros. So there's about 600 tickets sold to the teachers. Now, check that off. So we did the teachers. Now we want to do students. What do we know about the students?
They got sold 880 more tickets than the teachers.
Okay, so 888 more to the students than the teachers. So I have my 888, but we have to use another number too. Which other number do we have to use?
563.
Why?
because we need to add 563 and 888 to find the amount of tickets that were sold to the children.
Right, because it says 880 and more were sold to students. So we need to round the teachers and then add another 888 because they sold that many more than the teachers. So we already know that the teachers were about 600. So let's go ahead and round 888 to the nearest 100. Find my place, look next door. What does that 8 tell me to do?
Add one more to the other 8.
And then the rest turn to zeros. So I have my about 900 here, and I'm going to add to that 900 plus the 600 we already rounded. What is 900 plus 600?
1,500.
So we have about 1,500 tickets sold to the students. Okay, so now that we have each of these rounded values, the question's asking about how many tickets were sold to parents, teachers, and students. What would I do to find my answer? Because I had to do, step 1 was rounding all the numbers. Now I have to solve. So what am I going to do next? I'm going to take these values, and since we want to figure out how many were sold to all of them combined, I'm going to line them up and add them. So here's my parents, 900, about 600 for the teachers, making sure I have all of my place values lined up perfectly, and then 1,500 for the students. I'm going to add those up. So in my ones place, I have 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 equals 0. Sophia, what's 9 plus 6?
9 plus 6. 1 second,
Yep.
sorry. I have to. Sorry. 15.
Yep. Plus 5 more.
20.
So I'm going to put down my 0, carry the 2, and then I have 2 plus 1 equals 3. So my answer is going to be about 300 tickets. And I'm going to circle this so I know that's my answer. About 3,000 tickets. Don't forget your 1, 2, 3, insert your comma. Any questions with letter A? Okay, now for letter B. Exactly how many tickets were sold to parents, students, and teachers? Exactly how many tickets sold parents, students, and teachers? So what are we going to do this time? We still want to figure out how many tickets were sold, but this question's a little bit different than A. What will we do now?
We're going to have to find out the exact amounts and then add them all together to get the exact sum.
Okay, so how many tickets were sold to the parents?
904.
904.
How about teachers?
563.
And how about students?
1,500.
1,000.
Well, this is
No,
our estimate
it's-
answer. We want to use the actual. So we're going to add the 888, but not just 888. We need to add something else also. What else do we need to add?
The 563.
Right, because this was more, this many more than what was sold to the teachers. So we need to add both of those. Okay, so now we have 4 numbers that we're adding together. The only thing that we need to make sure we do is just we're very careful with our addition facts. So how about I'll do the ones, Sophia's going to do the tens, Peyton will do the hundreds. So 4 plus 3 equals 7. 7 plus 8 equals 15. Make sure you double check my math. And 15 plus 3 is 18. So I'm going to put down an 8 and carry my 1. Did you get the same thing? Was my math good? Okay, Sophia, you're going to do the tens and Peyton and I will check your math.
So 0 plus 6 equals 6. Well, yeah, 6 plus 6.
I would suggest maybe to start up here so you don't forget that one.
Oh yeah, okay. So there's 1 plus 8, which is 9. And then, wait, yeah, let's just do
Let's start with 1 plus 0.
Oh yeah, 1 plus 0 equals 1.
Plus 1 plus 6.
1 plus 6 equals, 7. 7
plus 8
equals 15.
And then 15 plus 6.
15 plus 6 equals 21.
So I'm going to put down the
1.
And carry.
Carry 2.
Okay, Peyton, you're going to take over the hundreds. Read it nice and slow. I know sometimes you like to go super fast, but I need to check too.
Okay, so 2 plus 9 is 11.
Okay.
And then 11 plus 5 is 16.
Mm-hmm.
So 16 plus 8 is 23.
Oh,
and then 23 plus 5.
Hold on. Try 16 plus 8 again.
Oh, 16 plus 8 is 24.
Mm-hmm.
And then 24 plus 5 is 29.
I'm going to write my 29.
Put down the 9 and then.
So here we found the exact number. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, comma. And how should this answer be labeled?
2,918 tickets.
There you go. Okay, now letter C is an interesting question. It's asking you to assess the reasonableness of your answer in part B. Use your estimate from part A to explain. So they're asking us to assess. So think about what we did. It makes sense. That's what reasonableness means. Answer in part B, use estimate from A to explain. So here we found the exact answer. Here we found the rounded answer. So our exact answer was 2,918. Our rounded answer was 3,000. Are they close to one another? Is 2,918 close to 3,000? Yes. So we have to explain that. So we're going to write my answer is reasonable because 2,918 is close to 3,000. My answer is reasonable because 2,918 is close to 3,000. Okay, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to move on to number 4. All right. So we're skipping over to page 62 now. During National Recycling Month, Mr. Yardley's class spent 4 weeks collecting empty cans to recycle. So let's put they spent 4 weeks collecting cans. So we have this chart showing the weeks and the number of cans collected. If you notice, week 2 is missing. Letter A. During week 2, the class collected 1,256 more cans than they did during week 1. Find the total number of cans Mr. Yardley's class collected in 4 weeks. So we know that week 2, class collected 1,256 more cans than week 1. Find total number of cans class collected in 4 weeks. So my first question to you is, if we need to figure out how much they collected in 4 weeks, how can we use this chart to help? How can we use this chart to help figure out how many cans were collected in 4 weeks?
Because in the question it says that the class collected 1,256.
Well, listen to my question, Sophia. How can you use this chart to figure out how many cans were collected in 4 weeks? What would you do?
Look at week 1 and see how much there was, and then add 1,256 to it.
Well, you're not listening to the question. I want to know how you can use this chart, not to figure out anything about week 2. I want to know how we're going to use this chart to answer the question. The question's asking total number of cans class collected in 4 weeks. So what would I do with this? How can I use this chart?
You can use that to find the total number of week 2.
I don't want to hear anything about week 2. You need to listen to the question. Don't focus on my highlighting. You're jumping in front of the gate here. The question's asking how many cans were collected in 4 weeks. Doesn't say anything about week 2. If you write about week 2, then you won't answer the question. They want to know how many cans were collected in all 4 weeks. So how are you going to figure out how many cans are collected in all 4 weeks? Here's week 1.
We have to add.
Go ahead.
We have to add the amount of all the weeks together.
Very good. So our ultimate goal is to add all 4 of these numbers together. Now we're going to take a step back and we're going to say, well, as this chart is, I can't do that because week 2 is missing. So now let's talk about how can we, Sophia, figure out how many cans were collected in week 2?
You can figure that out by adding the 1,256. I didn't miss you, Mom. Sorry. You'd add 1,256 to week 1's number, 10,827.
Very good, because it tells us it's 1,256 more cans than they did week 1. So we're going to start by adding these up. 6 plus 7 equals 13. So I'm going to put down my 3 and carry my 1. 1 plus 5 equals 6. 6 plus 2 equals 8. 2 plus 8 equals 10. Put down my 0, carry my 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Plus 0 equals 2. And 1 plus nothing equals 1. Count over 3, and I put in my comma. So now this number, I'm going to add to my chart. 12,083. Is this my answer for letter A? Am I finished?
No, you're not finished.
This is just week 2. What do I need to do, Peyton, to figure out my answer? How many cans were collected in 4 weeks?
You need to add. You need to add all 4 weeks, including week 2.
Okay, go ahead and read them off to me.
Week 1 is 10,827. Week 2 is 12,083. Week 3 is 10,522. And week 4 is 20,011.
Sophia, what's the most important part about adding up all these big numbers before we even start? How should your paper be set up? How can you make sure you're setting yourself up for success when we're adding all these big numbers together? How does your work want to look organized?
You want the columns to be straight.
Right, you want each of your place values to be lined up so all of your ones are lined up and they're spaced appropriately between your tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. Okay, now you guys are gonna add this one. We're gonna have what, Sophia, gonna do the first row, then Peyton, then Sophia, then Peyton, and then I'll finish it up. So start us off, Sophia, in the ones. You're muted, dear. You're muted.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
7 plus 3 is 10. And then 10 plus 2 is 12. And then 12 plus 1 is 13. So that'd be 13.
Okay, tell me what to do.
So you put a 3 under the column, like the ones column, and then you put a 1 on top of the next column.
Okay, Peyton, you're up.
1 plus 2 equals 3. Plus 8 is 11. Plus 2 is 15. Plus
No.
1 is 16.
11 plus 2 is
13.
13 plus 1
is 14. Put down the 4, carry the 1.
Thank you. Okay, Sophia.
So, okay. 1 second. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 0 is just 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. And then 14 plus 0 is just 14. So you'd put a 4 in the column and then put a 1 on top of the next column.
Very good. Peyton?
0 plus 1 equals 1. 1 plus 2 equals 3. And put down the 3.
And then finally, we have 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 2 equals 5. 1, 2, 3, comma. How will I label this answer? 53,443 what?
Hands.
Okay, letter B. We have to assess the reasonableness again of your answer in A by estimating the total number of cans. So assess reasonableness, answer A, estimating total number cans. Okay, so we are now going to use each of these numbers to estimate. But they didn't tell us what place value we need to round to. So that's kind of your choice. So what place? Now think about it. This was one of those questions on your test. What will give us a more accurate answer? The 10,000s or the thousands?
The thousands.
You're correct, because if we round to the nearest 1,000, we're going to get closer than if we just round to the nearest 10,000. So we have 10,827. We're going to round each of these to the nearest 1,000. I'm going to underline 0 in my thousands place. Look next door. What does the 8 tell me to do?
Add 1
Raise
more.
the 4. So I'm going to add 1 to my underlined digit. But remember, you can't forget about what's in front. So I'm going to bring that down and turn the rest to zeros. So I have 11,000. Then I'm going to write 12,083 because that's my week 2 amount. Find my thousands place. Look next door. What does the 0 tell me to do?
Take a rest.
Take a rest. So my 2's resting. My 1's minding its own business, so it stays the same. And the rest turn to zeros. So then I have week 3, 10,522. Find my place. Look next door. What does that 5 tell me to do?
5
or 4?
tells you to add one more.
So my 0 turns to a 1. Everything in front stays the same. And the rest turns to zeros. And then finally, week 4, 20,011. Find my thousands place. Look next door. You know, we kept it all consistent. We rounded to the thousands for every week. The 0 tells me to give it a rest. This 0 tells me to rest. So this 0 is resting. Anything out in front stays the same. And the rest turn to zeros. So now that we've estimated each week, what should we do to figure out our total? Let's add them up. So we have 11,000 plus 12,000 plus 11,000 plus 20,000. Lots of zeros. So our ones column is all zeros, giving us a total of 0. Our tens column is all zeros, giving us another 0. Same with our hundreds. Then we have 1 plus 2 equals 3. 3 plus 1 equals 4. Plus 0 stays 4. And then I have 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 2 equals 5. Count for my comma. 1, 2, 3 over. Insert my comma. So my estimated amount is about 54,000 tickets. Oh, not tickets. I'm thinking back to the last column. About 54,000 cans. Sophia, what was my actual answer in part A?
53,443.
Is that close to 54,000?
Yes.
So we're going to write my answer is reasonable because 53,443 is close to 54,000. Very close. So how is today's lesson a little bit different, a little bit more challenging than yesterday's? What did we build on today? Yesterday, we just practiced. Go ahead, Kate.
We built more on estimating.
Right, so yesterday we were just practicing and reviewing addition. Today, we had to use the skills from yesterday to add big multi-digit numbers, but then we also had multi-step problems. So we had to do a lot of estimating and then adding and estimating. So you're seeing that all of our rounding skills are being used in this lesson also. Do you have